glad year 12 is done. I thought it was never going to end.
Oh yeah, I am so happy it's finished. I was almost ready to give up.
Hey, have you decided what to wear for the end of the year 12 ceremony?
No, have you?
No. How about we go shopping on Sunday?
We have mass on Sunday, right?
We can go to any of the English mass. We don't have Sunday school anymore. Remember?
What do you mean? Just because we don't have Sunday school anymore, it doesn't mean we don't have to go to our mass anymore. Didn't I tell you all about our Syro Malabar Mass last year? Have you forgotten already?
No, I haven't forgotten. But masses is still the same, right? Shouldn't matter if it's English or Malayalam.
You're right. English and Malayalam Mass is celebrating the sacrament of the Holy Eucharist. But I think it's important that we go to our Holy Kurbana whenever we can, especially given our rich history and how far we have come. We should definitely embrace the beauty of our Mass and culture.
History? What do you mean by rich history?
I think I know what your problem is. You know nothing about where we came from and who we really are. I think it's time for another lesson. This time, let's go time traveling.
Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
So, do you want to tell me where we are now?
We are in AD 52. I hope you know who this is, right?
I know. This is St. Thomas. But who are the others?
Well, when he came to South India, he went to places with a strong Jewish population to preach the gospel to them and convert them to Christians.
Wait, so you mean there were Jews in Kerala before St. Thomas came?
Yeah, and not just Jews. He converted a good number of local Brahmins and have also ordained priests to look after the community. He even started these 7 communities.
Oh, wow! For him to do all this, it must have been a big challenge. I never realized how much St. Thomas cared for us.
You're exactly right. And do you know why we're called Nazranis?
No. Why is that?
It's because we follow Jesus of Nazareth. There is so much more to learn, and we are just getting started. I know it's a little hard to see, but St. Thomas was killed in AD 72 at Mailanpur.
Yeah, I can only imagine what he must have gone through. For him to come here and sacrifice his life for Jesus, he must have had a really strong faith.
You are absolutely right. His faith was strong indeed. To commemorate his faith and martyrdom, we celebrate the great solemn feast of St. Thomas on July the 3rd. Not sure if you know, but we call it Dukrana.
Oh, is that what Dukrana is? After seeing all this, I can understand why we give it such importance.
I am glad you understood this. Now, let's continue our journey.
Where are we now? Who is this?
This is Kanai Toma. He came to Kerala in AD 345. He came from Kanna, a town in the Middle East with around 300 to 400 people.
Oh, wow! But how did Christians in Kerala bond with Kanai Thoma?
Well, we had many things in common, including the Judeo-Christian background. Church in the Middle East and Church in Kerala were both founded by St. Thomas and his disciples Ma Adai and Ma Mari. And did you know we still follow the liturgy of Ma Adai and Ma Mari?
Really? So the Mass we celebrate is that old?
Yeah!
No wonder you said we have a rich history.
The locals and the rulers there received Kanai Thoma and the others with great joy. And with that migration of the Syrian Christians from the Middle East, the Christian community became so much stronger. Also, do you remember when Achin says we have Paliyogam or Podiyogam coming up?
Yeah, that's when we have the big meeting, right?
Yep, that's the one. Paliyogam is the parish assembly, and Podiyogam basically means general assembly. This was also started during this period where the priests and laymen came together to discuss the day-to-day administration.
Oh, wow! I had no idea all these things go back centuries. Who is this? Is he one of the old priests?
Oh, this is Bishop Ma Yosef. He also came with Kanai Thoma. From the 4th century to the 16th century, the East Syrian bishops were the spiritual head of our church, and they were here until the Portuguese came.
Wait a sec. How did Portuguese come to our story? What did they have to do with us?
Good question. Let me explain.
So, do you want to tell me why we had Portuguese people in Kerala?
Well, the Portuguese were here as a result of the many voyages the Europeans undertook since the 14th century. They wanted to find new markets for their products and get new raw materials like spices, which were useful for them.
So, what did they have to do with Christians in Kerala?
Portuguese missionaries who reached Kerala in the 16th century could not appreciate the Eastern liturgy followed by St. Thomas Christians, and they wanted to convert the St. Thomas Christians to Latin Rite.
Oh, really? That must have been really tough on the people.
Oh yeah. When the last bishop appointed by the East Syrian Patriarch died in 1597, the Portuguese tightened their hold and never permitted any more East Syrian bishops to enter.
I can only imagine what it must have been like for the people to change everything they were used to.
I know, right? And the changes didn't stop. They brought in many other changes which would eventually cause a big split in our community.
Oh no! What was that?
Come, I will show you.
So, what's happening here?
Have you heard about Synod?
Oh yeah, I have heard about it. But what is it?
The Greek word synod means conference. This is where a group of religious leaders come together for discussing general issues concerning the church. Today, the meaning of synod is a gathering of bishops.
So, what is this synod?
Well, this is the Synod of Diamper. It was conducted by the Portuguese at Udayamperur in 1599. This is a landmark event in the history of the Christian churches in India.
Really? How come?
After stopping the East Syrian bishops, The next mission was to stop the use of Syriac and change everything to Latin rites. So, with the conduct of this synod, Christians had to give up the teachings of St. Thomas that they had been following since the beginning and change everything to Latin style.
Oh no! That must have been really tough on people.
Oh yeah. So Ash Monday was replaced by Ash Wednesday. Priests had to use Latin vestments and basically all the Eastern traditions were replaced by Western ones. But I must say, the Synod also brought in some positive changes as well.
Really? What were those?
This is when the clergy education and syllabus was formalized, seminary education came into place, and chastity of priests were also introduced.
And did people like all these changes?
Some were okay and some were not. This was always going to cause problems. And that brings us to the next biggest event in our history.
Is this the big historic event you were talking about before?
Yes. This is called the Cunan Cross Oath.
Why is this so important? And what are these people doing holding the rope?
So, remember when I said some people were not okay with all these changes that the Portuguese people made?
Yeah.
Well, tension grew between the new Latin leadership and the old native leaders. After 5 decades, St. Thomas Christians, under the leadership of Archdeacon Thomas and other priests, took an oath at the church in Mattancherry not to accept Latin bishops and their rule.
Oh, I see. But why is it called Cunan Cross Oath?
Well, Cunan Cross Oath basically means Oath of the Bent Cross.
The Bent Cross?
Yeah. It is said the number of people who took part in the oath was so big that all of them could not touch the cross at the same time. So they held on to ropes tied to the cross in all directions. Because of the weight, the cross bent a little, and so it is known as Oath of the Bent Cross.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. So, what happened next?
Come with me. I will tell you what happened next. So, as you can imagine, this event led to the first big division of our community.
Oh, how come?
Remember when I said some people were okay with the Portuguese and some were not? Those who didn't like the Portuguese and Latin supremacy formed separate communities and accepted bishops from Antioch and joined West Syrian traditions of the Antioch Church.
And what happened to the other?
The majority of the St. Thomas Christians who initially depended on the Church of the East maintained union with Rome in spite of discomforts felt by the Portuguese rulers and clergy, against which they protested. And guess what?
What?
That group now formed the Syro-Malabar Catholic Church, which we belong to.
Wow! So that's how we became who we are? What are the other groups called?
Those who split in 1653 from Portuguese joined the West Syrian tradition, and they eventually split into various other groups. Not sure if you've heard, but Jacobite, Malankara Orthodox, and Syro-Malankara are some of the examples.
Oh yeah, I have heard those names before. This makes a lot more sense now.
I am so glad you understood all of this. Do you want to know what happened afterwards?
Yes, of course!
After the divide in 1653, we were still under the Latin Church's leadership. And after 2 whole centuries, in 1887, Pope Leo XIII fully separated the Syro-Malabarians from the Latin Church.
Oh, so we only really became Syro-Malabar in 1887, right?
That's exactly right. And do you know the term Syro-Malabar was first used by Pope Leo XIII himself in his apostolic letter?
Really? Wow, but why did he use that term?
Well, the word Syro is a short term for Syriac because we followed the East Syriac Rite liturgy, and Malabar is the historical name for modern-day Kerala. So I think it's only appropriate Pope Leo XIII called us Syro-Malabar Christians. And in 1923, the Syro-Malabar hierarchy was organized, and we got Mar Augustine Kandathil as the first head and archbishop of the church.
Wow! I can only imagine it must have been a huge milestone in our history.
Oh yeah, for sure. And here is another interesting fact. Do you remember Mar Adai and Mar Murray?
Oh yeah, the disciples of St. Thomas?
Exactly. In 1962, the anaphora of Mar Adai and Mar Murray, the most ancient Eucharistic prayer of the East Syriac liturgy, was restored, and we follow that to this very day.
That's so cool! It's amazing how far we go back.
This story will not be complete without remembering the legacy of 4 of the most prominent people in our history. Mar Karyati Metropolita, together with Pare Markal Thoma Katnar, took great efforts for the reunion of the St. Thomas Christians, who had split following the Coonan Cross oath. After Mar Karyati's death, Pare Markal led our church through a very turbulent time. Saint Kuriakos Elias Chavra was an influential figure who had a major role in reforming the society in Kerala. He played a major role in educating and uplifting people, especially the underprivileged. Nidhidi Mani Kathanar was a significant figure and an undisputed leader in the history of Syro-Malabar Church. He is the founder of Nasrani Deepika, which was a forerunner of today's Deepika newspaper. He also played an instrumental role in opening English education to the Syrian Catholic community. Today, Syro-Malabar Church is the second largest Eastern church in Catholic communion of 24 individual churches. No other Christian community is in the name of an apostle. We are headed by Major Archbishop Mar George Cardinal Alanjeri. The Syro-Malabar Church is primarily based in India, with 4 eparchies outside India. The eparchy of St. Thomas the Apostle in Melbourne was established in 2013, with Bishop Bosco as the head. It is a mind of the Catholic Church that each individual church should retain its tradition and adapt its way of life to the different needs of time and place. We must take part on Sundays and feast days in the divine liturgy according to the customs of our own right. We should celebrate the unity, diversity, beauty, and the glory of Syro-Malabar faith by standing rooted to our tradition. God placed us here not only to feed the hungry and clothe the naked, but also to guide this nation back to faith. Even though our history goes back centuries, as we stand here today, we are creating a new chapter in the history of Syro-Malabar. Come, let us create our legacy.